Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Duke, and this is I'm Right. Today, I'm right about the future of our country if we don't start educating our kids in radically different ways. A new survey from the Nehemiah Institute shows that 40% of Americans, 40%, 4 out of 10 believe that socialism is an acceptable and beneficial form of government. This is being driven, not surprisingly, these rise in numbers, by the younger generations who've just gotten done with school. A Gallup poll from a couple of years ago shows that 55% of Americans under the age of 30 prefer socialism to capitalism. How did we get here? We got here because of the schools. As with everything else, we have been dumbing down our kids' education. We've been not teaching them real history, but we've talked about that a lot on programs like this. The real problem is twofold. One is the corruption of language. Leftist educators, leftist pedagogy, everything from Common Core to university multicultural and diversity programs to the rewriting of the curriculum, the banishing of traditional books, the overriding of conventional history in favor of all of these petite narratives that rewrite history according to socialist and Marxist premises. All of this control of language by the left is whitewashing this history of communism and socialism, making it seem to be beneficial, making it seem to be fair, equitable, and just, when history shows, economics shows, reality shows that it's just not true. Besides the corruption of language, we have another major problem here. And that major problem is the rewriting of history. We're using the corrupt language to revision history going all the way back to the Founding Fathers. We've now reached a point where everything the left doesn't like is considered fascist and or Nazi. Never mind that the word Nazi itself comes from National Socialist German Workers' Party. Nazi applies to anything that is not progressively left. That includes the Founding Fathers. That includes words like white supremacist now, which applies to everybody who, in any way, shape, or form, fights against the progressive argument. This co-opting of language gives way to the rewriting of history. George Orwell made this abundantly clear in 1984 that it would come. It's here now. Unless we take back our language and unless we take back our history, the history of the country is bleak. We will become a socialist state. We will lose our freedoms, our liberties, our independence. It's inevitable. It can't go any other way. In my own experiences as a university professor, I have given numerous quizzes over the last 20 years to my students about basic American history and cultural literacy. As a matter of fact, the College Fix website recently did an article on these surveys that you can see at this website. And the remarkable thing about these surveys is that I gave them to high-ranking college kids, mostly juniors and seniors, about ready to graduate. And one of the questions that I asked, 7 different universities I gave these quizzes, 1,200 quizzes compiled. And one of the questions I asked them was to define socialism. In one sentence, define socialism. A whopping 83% of those 1,200 quizzes, those surveys, 83% define socialism either as equity or fairness or some variant. Somebody once said, the problem with capitalism is capitalists, but the problem with socialism is socialism. In other words, when capitalism goes off the rails, it's because individual capitalists have become greedy. The system is sound. It's proven historically and economically to work, to raise more people out of misery and lead them to prosperity. So when capitalism falls, it's not the idea of capitalism that's bad. It's people who abuse it. But the problem with socialism is socialism. Its problem is its own definition of itself. It's what it seeks to do. No matter how virtuous a socialist you are, you can't fix the flawed idea. And that's what we've got to get back to teaching in our schools, because if we don't, well, you're already beginning to see this school year what's happening. If you enjoyed that video, I urge you to consider joining our new Patriot Club at FreedomProject.com. I'm Dr. Duke. Thanks for watching.